Oh, yeah. For sure.
We need to... I think it would be wise of us to keep him down until the rest of the group arrives in case he tries to escape. I don't know if he has some other way of breaking out of mines.
Things. Do you have them? I hand him a list of herbs.
Do I have any herbs? Any of these herbs?
I mean, they can be gotten easily. Probably not you, probably,
Yeah.
but you can.
I don't have them here. I can get them.
I need them as soon as possible. I suppose we can wait for them to return, so we have suitable guards on Malik, but as soon as they do, if you could
Sure.
acquire those for me, it would be appreciated. In the meantime, I could begin asking him where he has the book and what happened to it, or any other questions you wish to ask.
And who his companion was.
Indeed.
Actually, I think his companion is way more important and dangerous than Malik.
But not our job.
It may become our job. It may have become our job had we captured him too.
It's true. Do you have a sturdy beam here?
The one on the ceiling.
It's sturdy?
Oh yes.
How much weight can it hold, do you think?
How far away?
Definitely a man, if that's what you mean.
Very
Stall.
good.
I mean, they've had a chance to chat a little bit because you're there. So
I would like to hang Malik up by the strappado method, where his arms are behind him and, upward in the worst possible position, and hoist him upward.
okay.
You mean like, chicken wing style? Like
Yeah.
back that way?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Inquisition style.
Yeah. Free pinata.
If you'd assist me.
Sure. More cautionary thoughts go through my mind.
Okay. He's very uncomfortable, and he's not. He's awake, groggy, but.
Yeah, it would be painful.
We'll also need to transport him to the ziggurat after we
At some point.
interrogate. We should send word to the archpriest also while he's here.
When our companions return, we can send one.
Ah, if it isn't the golden goose himself.
I'm not sure if I like that nickname or not. Please don't call me that again.
I for
Goose
one,
and the
enjoyed my
Viper.
nickname.
The Viper and the Golden Goose.
We did
All right.
quite a fair amount.
We did. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Goose honks.
So he's trussed up and suspended in an uncomfortable way.
So, you won't believe who we ran into.
Who?
Malik.
Our friend Malik.
Ah,
Yeah.
And
the
another
man
man.
replaced in the ziggurat.
yes, and the one who we were looking for.
Yeah.
And where is he now?
I believe at Arslan's stall. Right about
perfect.
now.
I think that we
To a
should.
small degree.
A small hiccup on the way
like
over
that?
there. I'll explain it to you on the way. First, I need to go collect my winnings. And I'm going to go talk to who I need to talk to get my money.
Okay.
And you also wagered
Yes.
On yourself.
heavily.
Of course. Who better to bet on than myself? As I keep saying, I was destined to be either a rich man or a dead man.
Is there anybody taking interest in them? But
No, no.
It's fine.
So yeah, I'll
Need
go
to
up to
build up
the
more
fight
cred.
coordinator and just be like, so where do I collect my winnings?
Yeah. You go to the. He'll show you where he. Well, he takes you to where. Actually, I'm sorry, you got it from a bookie. He takes you to the guy who runs the place, to the promoter.
Mm-hmm.
See, I told you he was worth more than you gave him credit for. I sponsored you in your fight.
Yes, I remember. Thank you. Take a sack.
16 coppers.
I'm imagining that
The man.
Seinfeld episode where Kramer had those cargo pockets full of change.
That goes over well everywhere.
All right. So how much did I win, by the way?
60 derricks.
Okay.
And I'll take my cut.
You got plenty of a cut from betting on me.
What are you
You're
talking
welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Take those back.
He just lost his manager.
It's all right. Going independent is the way to go.
Something
Trust me.
tells me he
Creation.
needs me more than I need him. Let's be fair.
Okay.
We'll see.
I go and get my recompense too.
Okay.
Right, you bet on yourself and you get paid, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
The same.
Plus whatever you made from betting on yourself.
Oh yes, I am if nothing if not rich. In spirit, in charm, and love for my fellow man.
And groupies.
Sure, let's say that.
You love you, Viper!
So at Arslan's,
Yes.
Yes.
so he's trussed up.
We need to find out where the book is, but I
Malik, are you awake up there?
I'll just sit and watch
Mm-hmm.
Malik,
nervously.
Yes, I'm awake.
are you comfortable?
He murmurs something.
Who is your friend, Malik?
He says something incomprehensible.
Malik, who was your friend? All right. Until he starts speaking to me, I will move on to bastinado, whipping of the feet, the sensitive nerve endings, and possible tendon and muscle damage.
Make a persuasion roll.
Would this not be intimidation?
I'm sorry, yeah, intimidation.
20.
I really thought you applied your trade in a different way.
20.
Okay.
I'll take out the whip.
Whip.
Malik, who was your friend?
He spits something.
Okay. I hit his feet with a short whip. Hard
Atlas and Alexi's roll a d20.
on the plantar.
Oh, actually,
the
you
plantar
guys were all
axis.
together, right?
Yeah.
Before you roll a d20 or something. Which one?
Alright.
Oh,
The plantar axis for the sensitive nerves and fascia.
Okay.
Damageable fascia.
Am I adding anything to this?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Just tell me what you roll, straight.
14.
16.
11.
He's clearly uncomfortable and responds accordingly. What are you up to, Arslan?
I'm watching at the moment.
Okay.
I want to know what what kind of companions I have here.
Okay.
I really thought you applied your trade in a different way, but I can see that sensitivities are what you work, of whatever kind.
Of course.
And he says, Zarvan!
Zarvan.
Ever heard of the name?
Zarvan.
Mm-mm.
Can I make an insight check to see if he's telling the truth?
Make an insight roll.
Natural 20.
Okay. He seems to be... He seems to be truthful. Yeah, it seems that he's telling the truth.
Zarvan. Please make note of that, my friend.
And then he passes out.
Oh, I hate it when they do this. I really need those herbs. We have to keep him awake.
And the four of you arrive.
And that's when I kicked the sand into his face triumphantly and left off in a glorious huff.
Yes, we were all very impressed.
Yes, it's good to hear that, I say, completely ignoring the sarcasm.
Yep.
So when you walk in,
Okay.
Sabine's holding a whip and Malik is trussed up back with his hands behind his back across a beam.
So I see we've begun our conversation.
Yes. What was the name of his friend?
Zarvan.
Zarvan.
Oh, good.
And,
I believe
Do
him.
you know the name?
and do I? I don't know the name. Do I?
Isn't that the name, the sort of name that those Northmen farther than the Coranians have? What was it? Bogathi? I don't know.
So did you find out where the book was?
Not yet. I'm afraid he's passed out. We're going to need some herbs. I have a list here if someone would like to go and fetch these.
It's late.
Nobody's
Still,
gonna
we
be
need
able
them
to-
as soon as possible.
The secret is in space.
I'm sure there's
won't-
someone here who could break into someone's stall and get the herbs for me.
I wouldn't know what they would look like. They're not normally written on. We could get them first thing.
What's the problem?
He's passed out.
Wait.
It's very hard to get information out of him this way. I need to keep him awake.
You have a bucket of water?
Probably.
Yes.
I walk over to him and I smack him in the face. Hey, wake up.
Roll a d20.
12.
I mean, eventually you'll rouse him.
You're Malik, I suppose.
We didn't take the hood off.
And who are you?
Did you take the hood off him?
I didn't.
Yeah, we didn't take the hood off.
Oh, okay.
I don't want the hood off.
That's why I called him my friend and I didn't use his
Yeah.
name.
Well, I want to see what it looks like.
A pimply little shit.
So I wanted to see what he looks like.
So you're gonna take the thing
I
off?
don't think we want to know.
Going to
maybe
step away
that's
then,
not-
yeah.
Or isn't it in a back room? I mean, it's,
It is.
Yeah.
I mean,
This man's livelihoods here.
we.
do you want to
I'll put a
relocate him?
cloth.
I can, we can,
I'll drape a cloth around him so they can't see around. And you can look at him. Like look under the hood.
Yep.
Take a look.
He's young. He's in his early to mid 20s. Near Eastern, dark hair, big, watery brown eyes. Looks out of it right now, but for obvious and understandable reasons.
Is he pimply? Does he have an?
I mean,
A little bit,
A
maybe.
little bit.
He's more, but he's wet behind the ears. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. He's
Okay.
he's a little pimply.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
And
Sure.
I'll tell them.
He's got a character
Hopefully,
trait
a
running.
little further out of earshot. He was with a mage.
really.
Whoever he was with brought darkness around us and then disappeared. And that means whoever he was with is way more interesting and powerful and dangerous than he is. He may be just the beginnings of what lies ahead.
That is most discomforting. We should find out what else he knows.
Indeed.
Sabine, no, I don't say Sabine. I say she's working on that.
His cover's back on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I put it back on after they looked.
So, Malik. Where is the Book of Illic?
Make another intimidation roll.
19 plus 3 is 22.
Okay. So you're engaging in your interrogation of him. What are the rest of you doing?
I think I might have something at home that could help with this process.
That'd be excellent. I would love to have this process complete as quickly as possible.
I'm bandaging my wounds.
I spent a little time in the Far East. I have some things that might be able to help us. I'm gonna depart, Cliff, and head back to my flat.
Okay.
Pull on his feet a little bit. Just to Make it hurt more.
Okay.
All things considered, I'm trying to distance myself from this happenings right here, and I'm going to find a quiet spot in the.
Yeah, this kind of thing is below you.
I sit off to the side and I enjoy watching.
Okay.
I'm bandaging wounds.
Your wounds from earlier in the evening.
Yeah, I'm sewing myself back together here. Just a little bit.
Okay.
Gotta make it look good.
I'm gonna attempt to meditate a little bit, by the way, since I'm got a quiet spot. That might make it a little difficult.
I
The
break out
universe
my kit of needles.
The universe
Specifically for
gives us tests, brother, to make sure that we can do the things we do.
Well, this is most definitely a test, that's for sure.
Scream in the background.
I start targeting the nerves specifically in the feet.
Although I would offer that you are, how do I say this?
Go easy on him.
Well, no, there's a sensibility that relates to we don't know where his nerves are because we don't know what nerves are.
Right.
Okay, so but that having been said,
Meridians.
no. Well, my point is
His
that
chakra points.
with it's full circle.
Right.
What have you gotten to him also? So within the yes, and obviously interrogation even in the ancient world was yeah, but I mean was advanced in that sense, you know. So I want to just be I want to steer clear of we don't necessarily know specific things like
the term nerves.
Yeah, terminology.
Okay.
So, but that having been said, your session gleans the following information. You Zarvin is the name of the guy that he was with, and the book is at the Wizard's Tower.
Once again.
Did those two, when I noticed that they were damaged, well, I know from the fight he was damaged. He received damage.
You know that they were both. Well, you know that he was. I think he took more injury than you did, or no?
Actually,
we took around about the same.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
so then
roughly about the same.
check that. You could tell that they were both.
We've been in a scuffle.
Yeah.
Perhaps a nice game of Senate while we wait.
I've never played before.
Oh, you'll love it. It's a lot like what do you call it? What was that one? God, what was that one? Gandhari. Oh yes, elephant chess.
Oh, elephant chess.
It's a little like that.
Oh, I've played that before.
You still hear the screaming in the background.
We are trying to drown out the screaming by playing a nice, calm game of Senate.
Stop! I'll tell you.
It's like plot twist. He goes, "Oh, harder."
Yeah, we could have worked with that too.
Yeah, right.
So I would have also asked him the location of the Watchers in the Eye. Where are they? And which Wizard's Tower?
That we know of the city.
That we know of.
Alrighty.
You'll be
The
rolling at a
Wizard's Tower.
disadvantage
Which
because I
wizard?
explained the rules, but
Which
only
wizard?
just.
Aha. Okay. Fair enough.
And use your intelligence modifier.
Oh, that's not good.
But you-
4.
Oh, I got a 19. I just mercilessly school you without, and then I'm just not even hiding it. Less like do.
You're lucky I'm not the type to rage quit.
No, you're doing well. You're doing well. Most people when they pick up a game of Senate do not quite get it as quickly as you are. But you like right here. You need to make sure you move your pharaoh over to here next time.
Right, because he gets to move only in this direction, so he would be able to protect that piece right there.
Yes, of course.
Aha.
Mhm.
Okay.
I walk over to Sabine, and what do you call this method?
The flaying method of the feet, or did you have another method in mind?
Oh no, I was just curious.
This one is called bastonado. The feet are very sensitive. And you can damage them permanently.
You have 3 of those drafts at your place.
Okay.
The ones that you were that you were inquiring about.
For them.
Correct. Okay.
Interesting.
I have. She takes out like essentially a little torturer's kit that she had rolled up in her clothes. Soon we'll move on to these needles here, and she begins talking about them with almost a loving sort of
Do I make it back?
obvious passion for her job.
Yes.
Very interesting.
So, have you gleaned any more information from him?
Yes, apparently the book is in the Wizard's Tower. Zarvan was the person he was with that brought the darkness upon us. Have you heard that name?
No.
What
Making
else did
sure
you, what else
that,
did you learn?
Well, that's what I was asking. I'm asking him where the Watchers in the Eye is, which Wizard's Tower, which wizard, and I'm also making sure that when I tell Lexides about the various types of tortures that Malik can hear me quite well. And these wooden splints go into the genitals. And going on and on and on about the types of things.
All right, I think that may
primitive.
be far enough in my
not
place.
great information.
That is very disconcerting.
Then
Gentlemen,
You're torturing me just with the commentary on it.
drink one of these.
oh,
They die and you take them.
Yeah, I'm not even going to ask what those are.
Yeah.
no, why not? Why would someone want to poison me? That's silly. Thankfully, I built up a
Very
On a
earthy
phone.
taste to it.
You get 10 hit points back.
Woo!
Kepri, you also get 10 hit points back.
noise.
Where I'm from.
And that is called draft of Zakan Barna. Zakhan Bharna. Only
I don't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, we don't know that.
Zakan.
Only he knows that.
Okay, well, never mind.
I mean, unless he decides to share that
right,
information.
right, right.
that was quite the very stimulating. What is this called?
A concoction of my time in the Far East. It takes me a week to make one of those.
Oh, I will have to
I've
compensate
never
you for
even heard
your.
of these before, like
your
stuff
kindness.
like this, at least.
I mean, I'm sure that you have
I'm sure there's like
heard
a.
of. Yeah, sure, of course. I mean, there were.
I'm sure like there's a regional variation here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you come from an order of combat monks that would spend time healing, and so
Yeah.
there would be people within the confines of the monastery that would have healing drafts.
Okay. Oh, healing draft. A bit more earthy than I'm used to tasting, but did the job. Thank you.
So as I was saying, you need to make sure that this crosses the river Apophis here this time.
Is he conscious?
Okay.
You're
How's he doing?
Malik, is he conscious? Can you please let him down?
For what purpose?
I'd like to talk to him.
You can't talk to him from here?
I don't wish to. I have other ways of extracting.
You guys are
information
talking
from
too
you.
much, and I take my sword and I just cut the rope that's holding him, and he falls.
How?
Well, that's one way to do it.
I'll help him up into a chair.
Which
Still tied, but
that does cause additional damage when you drop someone in strapato quickly.
Yeah.
So, to the tendons. And
Yeah, yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's not having
Put
a
him in
fun
a
day.
chair.
yeah.
Malik, excuse my friends. They are foreigners. They do not treat guests the same way that we do.
We're gonna good bad cop this, are we?
Why not?
Here, give him some water.
Under his hood.
Just lift it up above the nose and then.
He sputters, but drinks.
Give him another one.
What with the other thing?
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Okay. So he drinks and he chokes the water. I mean, he's in bad shape. You know.
Try to make it more comfortable.
How do you do that?
I don't know. On time.
Okay.
He's not going anywhere. Believe me.
I take a pin from my hair. You better not.
Okay. What do the rest of you guys do?
I'm standing behind Malik, watching him like a hawk. He so much as tries to bolt.
I don't know. Has Anupam had enough Senate for one day?
I will learn this game.
Okay.
Alright.
You know, we should send word to the ziggurat.
Ooh. That's much
The archpriest should know that we have
13.
Malik.
17.
We should take him there directly.
Well, they could
No,
accompany
you
each
leave,
other.
you leave your pyramids open.
They could what?
They could accompany each other
I feel like I almost had you
to
there.
the temple.
You did.
He didn't.
Would you two be able to take a message to the archpriest? Let him know that Malik has been captured.
Of course.
We need to let him know as soon as possible, and that there's other word that we need to get to them, and we'll be at the temple by morning.
Do you wish for us to relay any of the messages, the information we have found now, or leave that for later?
For the morning, we'll bring him in the morning.
Very well. I am more than happy. Perhaps Anupam needs a break from the game. Or I can...
Probably be safer to take him there now in the night
I agree.
without anybody seeing.
I feel like
Not
that's
trying to
fair.
raise
Yeah.
awareness.
Perhaps that
Alright,
is the
let's
one.
move.
Do we have any
I did
further
want to
information
extract
that we
more
need from
information
him?
from him, but this will have to do.
I was gonna
We
say,
can
do
do
we
that
need,
from the temple.
do we need to extract any more information from him right now, or can we?
I
We
think
do, but we can take him to the temple now, I suppose.
Can
What
you
else
walk?
would you like to know?
I would like to know the location of the Watchers.
They're in the tower. From what?
So we've
That-
been told.
That we already know. I mean,
I do have a question for you, though,
what are
Malik.
the odds?
How did you get into the tower? Because the door is locked.
that is a good question.
That's the right question to ask, I think.
I'm so not
Here's
even
some.
sure yet.
Durno has the. I'm sorry, wrong voice. Durno has the key.
Durno.
I know that name. I heard it.
Standing behind him, I just kind of put my hand on his throat, ever so lovingly. And who is Durno?
Atlas, make an insight roll.
17? 17.
You remember that Durno was the name of the caretaker.
The guy that we met outside the... Who was there?
No. Durno was the name of Zabaranth's caretaker of his
Tower?
He took care of the property.
yes, the caretaker of his
So I would
property.
have seen him, or I would have...
Make another roll.
Just modifying anything? I roll an 8.
You remember that Zabaranth had a second tower. That he used for his mundane things.
Outside the city, or was this...
No, in Vadashar.
I suppose only one has the reputation as the Wizard's Tower.
Okay. Very interesting.
That was the second tower.
Can he walk?
Oh no, he'll need to be carried at this point.
Wonderful.
Lovely.
We could force him to walk.
I think you take too much pleasure in this at
I
this
like-
point.
I like knowing information.
I see.
Did you want to ask Malik any tips about how to do your job better?
No.
He had it before you.
Clearly he didn't do a good
Twist
job.
that knife.
Okay.
I mean, it's not it doesn't
True.
seem like it's a high bar to cross here.
Yeah.
What does he respond when I ask him who Durno is? Does he respond?
He's in charge of the. He's in charge of the. He's in charge of the temple.
Is he the one who has the book now? You said it's in the tower, but that didn't mean that it was in his possession. Whose possession is it in?
I don't know who has it.
Who did you deliver it to?
Zarvin.
Directly, okay. So we had the proprietor of the book
That's why I wanted to get him.
momentarily.
That's why I wanted to get him, but that was not to be.
And what do you know? What do you know of the book?
Did you read it?
I couldn't read it. I can only read a little bit of it. It's old. It's ancient.
And what were you able to learn from the bits you could read?
It's not for me to read. It's for Asura's chosen.
Sort of.
Can I make a religion check?
Yeah, everybody can make a religion
I was
check.
gonna say.
Natural 20.
11.
Natural 20.
That's a 23
I
natural.
know
Natural 20.
nothing about religion.
Natural 1.
Yeah.
I got an 11.
I got a 13.
5.
So,
I consider myself a pretty religious guy.
most of you have heard of Asura.
I know that.
Asura is a deity from the Far East.
Mm-hmm.
He's known as the Dreaming God. And Asura's cult is also very popular in Balkan. Did you know that? Were you already aware of that?
Let's see if I knew that. I know of Balkan. What does she know?
What are the practices?
I'm not seeing Asura anywhere
Okay.
in the Balkan information.
Really interesting. It's a very Asura's it's a cult that comes from the Far East. It's very Balkan is a city that's also in the Valley of Khalifa, which in the Valley of Caliph, which for the last 100 years has been occupied by another city in the valley called Benar. Asura, the dreaming god, was reputed to have been one of the ancient primeval rulers of the ancient world, and he was his horn was torn from the center of his huge demonic forehead by one of the giant kings, which sent him in according to legend, a dreaming catatonic slumber. And roll a d20 for me.
17.
Okay, and you would know that cult is very popular in Balkan, and is there's the resistance that fights the occupation by Vinar is very involved. The the cult of Asura is very involved in it. No es lo bueno.
How did you get approached by them? What made you decide to work with them?
Why did you betray the Archpriest, Malik?
I hate him.
Why?
I hate that he has a power that is unavailable to me.
So this was personal for you?
No. I don't know.
What power are you speaking of? I mean, the power of running the church?
All of his power is going to mean nothing when Asura rises to claim the earth and his dominion over all. Then his cult will rise up, and we will be the lords of Vadishar and Zul.
Tell me, Malik.
You
Do
mean
the
they will be the
Watchers-
lords?
Do the Watchers, do they follow Asura?
We are his faithful. We will be rewarded in the after when he reclaims the glory that was taken from him.
But not the chosen. You said you weren't the chosen of Asura, that it was not for you to read the book. So why aren't you the chosen, Malik? What happened? Why aren't you good enough?
There's power. There's greater, more powerful men than I am, and than you.
Of course.
You know nothing of ruling Zul.
So you are a petty underling of such men. Is
In
that
two
what you're
places,
saying?
apparently.
I was chosen by the Pain Prophet. He selected me.
The Pain Prophet selected you, but not Asura.
He selected the Prophet. That's good enough for me.
And that's why you left.
Who is the pain prophet?
Zarvin.
Ah, that makes sense now.
And Zarvin, he is one of the chosen of Asura. He is allowed
That
to
was
read the book.
the mage we encountered with him.
Is that true?
I'll make a persuasion roll.
Yeah, no. I'm just asking questions. I'm not very persuasive.
Where does Zarvin reside? In the tower or elsewhere?
In the tower. With the rest of the Watchers, the Chosen.
How many are there so far there?
Oh, what does it matter? Now there are dozens, but there will be thousands. Asura's rule is already assured. The people of Balkan rise up against their Venarian oppressors, and the streets of the streets of Balkan will run red with the blood of their Venarian oppressors. All of them dead, murdered, killed, slaughtered. What they deserve. What you deserve.
What makes you think that's actually going to happen? You were told this by Zarvin?
Foolish woman, don't you ever look up into the sky and look at the moon?
Oh, I'm going to do something to damage him now.
He's damaged.
Stop.
He's damaged.
Stop.
I have a more pressing question. As someone who now fills the station which you recently vacated, I'm wondering if there...
You're the archpriest's lackey now?
Yes, and I was wondering if there's any information that you'd wish to share with me about the position or things that I should know about the man for whom I work.
Any secrets that you wish to impart?
Is this really the time, Alexides?
Go to hell.
Wait, which hell was he talking about? do you think?
One of the 9, whatever, whichever one.
So the pain prophet, how did he approach you?
From behind.
Well, we know that, but how did he initially approach you?
Can I please continue my work while they go and inform the archpriest that we have Malik?
We were going to bring him.
This is weird. We're getting information.
You just don't like the method we get it in.
One other question, Malik. The tower, is there a code or some sort of, how do we, on the door to enter?
Surely.
Pressing
Is
the
there a
code.
secret
Sure.
knock?
Surely it's not as simple as saying you're a friend and entering.
No, there could be a code word.
It's a dance.
Well, you understand it's a different tower.
You gotta
than-
do the truffle shuffle.
Right. It's a ruin.
Just walk in.
Do I know where that's at? This other tower? I would.
Not necessarily, but I mean,
We'll find it.
yeah,
Okay.
he will tell you where it's at. It's not like, you know.
Right. Okay. I think we've.
Well, the pain prophet, who does the pain prophet report to? Who is his master? Who is the pain prophet's master?
Parmenion.
How do you spell that?
Just like it sounds.
Oh, Parmenion?
Parmenion. Parmenion.
Oh, Parmenion.
And does Parmenion report directly to Asura? Does he take his inspiration from the dreaming god?
He has Asura's relic to inspire him and the cult.
Would this be the book, or are we talking about something else?
I'm tired.
You know what? So am I. So why don't you end this night a little bit early for us and just tell us what we need to know?
Why don't you find out for yourself?
I think we've gleaned as
I'm
much
gonna walk away.
information as we want.
Let's get him to the table.
I'm just turning around. I'm just gonna walk away.
Because they don't want him.
Yeah, we'll package him up.
Well, he still needs to be alive. I'm gonna do it.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
can
he's-
keep him alive.
Your enthusiasm says that may eventually turn against you at some point.
Keeping him alive?
No, your enthusiasm for keeping him alive.
Meaning what?
You will kill him given enough time.
Let's head out.
I am sure of it.
Yeah, let's
Given
get him.
enough
Let's get him.
time, but we don't plan to stay here that long.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's
And
get
we're
him
heading
to
up.
the, let's get him to the ziggurat,
Very well.
and we'll take him to the ziggurat.
Okay. How do you transport him?
Roll him up in a rug.
Actually, that was not a bad
That's
idea.
not a
Squish
bad
him, yeah, squish him up and
I
put him
have a
into
rug.
put him in something.
I like
There
how
you
you
go.
think.
Yeah,
Yeah.
box him
Smart.
up in something.
It's an elegant solution.
Mhm.
And
Roll him
gag
up.
him. Make sure he's gagged.
Yeah.
Ancient solutions require ancient problems.
And you
Excuse me, I'm a little punch drunk.
you get back to the you get to the ziggurat, and
This is different for me, actually. Bringing somebody here instead of me being the one that's being brought
Does
here.
it feel odd to be on the other side?
It does.
See, so we're carrying the rug.
So you have a penchant for rugs too.
Uh,
We'll take him while it's still dark.
Yes.
Before the light, comes up.
and
It's early in the morning already.
yeah, it's right. It's probably
4 or something.
yeah, exactly. And when you get to the temple grounds, you see actually the first person that you see going indoor when you go inside is Baracus
oh,
from
before.
before, correct? And you give him a thumbs up.
Yeah.
He does the same. That's a nice rug you've got there, my son. A little gift for the archpriest?
Yes.
Yes. We'd like to deliver it in person.
Well, you should clean it up before you give it to him because it looks like it's leaking there a little bit.
I'm sure it's leaking. Maybe more than a little bit.
Hardly at all.
Just a little bit.
That's intentional. It's a feature.
It's wine. That's why it's red.
He says, I believe what you have is for me. If that's what I think it is.
First,
No.
it will be presented to the archpriest. Then you're welcome to do with it what you like.
Lead on.
I will.
It's not that we don't
And who
trust
are you again? I have not met him, have I?
He's Baracus.
This is Baracus.
Brackus, nice to meet you. What do you do for the temple?
I fix things for the archpriest.
You'll definitely be getting this soon enough.
Indeed, but I will be happy to accompany you to.
Perhaps someone could mop the blood up behind
There's not that
the
much
wine
blood.
up. We don't want to spill it,
only a
wine
little bit.
everywhere.
It's only a
I
little
know what
bit.
I'm doing. There's very little blood.
Okay.
So
That's
you
what the rug is doing. It's
you take him to you carry the rug to the
Are we just gonna
and the archpriest is
To his office. I assume,
I'm
where
actually
it
going to
needs
be following behind Baracus, actually,
Okay.
as we go. Just kind of keeping an eye on him.
Of course. Get the cash. Just carry the rug. Oh, yes. Gotta carry the thing.
Carrying
No.
the weight of the world.
My lord archpriest.
Is he there yet?
We knock on the door.
he's goes to his
okay.
to his
Okay.
chambers to his chambers and. I take it this is something extraordinary to be heard at such an early hour.
It's heavy, is what it is.
Put it down.
We have a gift
Thump.
for you.
And I take my
Lord
foot and I put my foot on the rug and I kick it to roll it out and Mully rolls out. Does this meet your definition of important?
And it's very dark, so he's in the shadows, but you think you see a wide smile break out on his face. And we'll take a break for a few minutes, and we'll come back in just a second.
I have it on the computer.
I'm not entertained.
What's that? What's that?
This is where we were. We're back. Body fell out.
Big smile.
Big
Fruit.
smile.
Oh, fruit roll-ups.
Mm-hmm.
So close, yeah.
Okay, and welcome back. Thank you very much for staying tuned in with us. So, before we tuned out for a second, you had brought Malik back to the Archpriest at the Temple of Baal, rolled him out of the carpet in which you had transported him, and the Archpriest was excited to see him. Or he indicated a look of pleasure at his having been returned. And he's still tied. I'm guessing he's still tied and everything. So,
And blindfolded and gagged.
oh, so you can't tell if he has a defiant look on his face or
Does
not.
Baracus come into the room with us?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There was some, when we caught him, he was with another man by the name of Zarvan. And the Zarvan, we actually didn't think a whole lot of what was going on with him. We're capturing Malik. And Zarvan...
To be fair, my Lord Archpriest, I did try to capture him.
And he brought magic on us and created darkness out of nothing and disappeared. And when we conversed with Malik, we found out a lot of information that we'd like to find out if you have details about.
What did you learn?
Well, I mean, you know.
My lord,
anyone.
the Book of Illic is in the Wizard's Tower. The tower itself is being watched over by one by the name of Durno, who's in charge of the temple, we were told. Zarvan himself is called the Pain Prophet. He is the chosen of Asura, and he resides in the tower. He reports to Parmenion, who has Asura's relic. Zarvan himself is a wizard, and we were defeated by him via magic.
He escaped via magic. I'm not sure we were defeated so much.
Misdirected.
Yes.
We were unable to detain him. Apologies.
I was not there.
It was a surprise.
To be sure. I have not seen such things since I was back home.
I don't think there will be much time before the trail will run cold, though, because they know they'll know by now what's transpired. So
Zarvan knows we have Malik.
So
Do they know who has Malik?
No.
No.
So he doesn't really know anything except that the two of them were accosted by someone.
No, he knew that. I don't remember who, but somebody said, "We're here for him. Stay down." So he knew that it was Malik that we wanted in specific.
He is, however, does not know the identity of his kidnappers.
Correct.
I will point out that he was perfectly willing to have Malik taken if it meant no harm to him. Did you hear that, Malik? He was perfectly willing.
Do you know this Parmenion? Or Zarvan?
I've never heard of either one of these rabble.
I know of one of Zavarant's towers within the city, but there's another. Can you direct me to where that might be?
As familiar as I am with the goings on in this city, Alice, I don't know where every piece of architecture is to be found within the city's precincts.
I thought I would ask.
You have something to add, Sabine?
No, my lord. Simply that I think that we should attempt to retrieve the book as soon as possible before they move in. They know that Malik has information as to its whereabouts.
It is my experience with fanatics that they do not leave until their purposes are met or realized.
My concern is that it would seem, based on the way that Malik spoke about this group of cultists, that we're not dealing with what might have been a small cell any longer.
They are indeed fanatics. They're followers of Asura. He also mentioned that Balkan would be liberated from Vanar.
If I may, he also mentioned something along the lines of at least dozens of fellow fanatics.
That was my concern.
Mm-hmm.
He said there were dozens of us now, but there will be thousands of us.
Literally dozens.
So maybe a double.
Very few baker's dozen of fanatics. To what? How much his word could be trusted, I do not know. But he
They
did
would
seem...
not let me finish my work, my lord.
Unfortunate. Perhaps you and... I normally employ Baal Supreme and Unwielding has in his service Baracus to engage in some of the more difficult and perhaps less tasteful deeds. But if you have thus far been able to persuade Malik, I see no reason perhaps you can assist Baracus.
I would like that very much. Thank you.
And Baracus smiles, and he's very big, very strong, and he basically with very little effort picks Malik up and leads him out of the archpriest's chambers. Do you follow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys go off, and sir,
I want a moment with the archpriest as everyone else is going and doing whatever.
I'm heading back to my room for the night either way, so...
Good day.
Yeah.
We need to find where the tower is.
Yes. I was going to wait until...
I suspect that if you bide for a short period longer, such information will
Presents itself.
readily.
Forthcoming.
I'll give him this type of invoicey stuff, and I'll say your normal invoices and various correspondence were, notwithstanding, relatively unimpressive and businesses as usual. However, there was one particularly perplexing piece of literature that was delivered to yourself. I was hoping that you might elucidate me as to its particular meaning.
Oh, they're at it again. I see.
Who is they, and what is the Firebird?
Well, make a... I guess, make a religion roll. or history. They both work. And actually, they're both probably the same. You probably both have the same scoring each.
Yeah, I do. It's a 10.
Did you make it?
That
You rolled a 10.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I rolled a 10.
Okay, that's an easy. Well, it doesn't spark any. It doesn't jar any memories
For me.
For you at the moment. Correct. He says, Harmon says to you, you'll find a few, these are not the first of these. If you have any interest, and he points to a stack of correspondence, actually stacks and stacks of correspondence. And you'll find them in there. And he points.
That's fine. However, me reading them means not. I wanted to know if this has any particular meaning to you. We've dealt with the issue of Malik, and I suppose we will, in time, deal with the rest of the Watchers of the Eye. I wanted to make sure that we rout out any weeds that might be springing up in the city before they become a problem, and if this was a potential lead for something, I'd be more than happy to deal with it.
And he looks over at the
stack.
No, it's not a problem. It's cool.
I mean, it's not like
No.
File cabinets.
I just don't know if and maybe me going and reading will enlighten me as to something, but I don't know if this is, so I guess I'll have to do that at some point.
Okay. Roll a d20.
16.
Okay. So, hold tight. This doesn't need to be tedious. In a short period of time, you and Baracus fill in a few of the other blanks. It takes about an hour actually to do you want to why don't you roll the intimidation for me?
Not good, only a 9.
I'll see if I get a better roll.
Okay.
Of course, there's two of you. Natural 20.
So I'm good cop this time.
So what's that?
I'm good cop this time then.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you poor thing.
So, apparently, there's a plan to. I'm sorry. The book has what they believe is the formula for an arcane plague to transmit through animals. And there is a festival coming up.
Ancient terrorism.
The Festival of the Camel.
No camels. No, these are actually cows and pigs. They plan to perform a ritual which will cause a plague in the animals, and they'll turn it loose in the city.
Maybe time to stop eating beef and pork. No, that won't work.
We would rather die.
I will eat this diseased meat because it is still delicious.
But please, no romaine lettuce.
That stuff can kill you, man.
Why would you do that? Suicide.
Why'd you do that to yourself? So, did you make a roll, you said?
4.
Oh, you rolled a 16?
I rolled a 16.
Okay. And you also learn the location of the tower. It's as I said, it was a. I mean, he doesn't know this, but just to but you knew that Zeberanth had a second tower for mundane.
Okay.
Oh, this one has yellow.
Ooh.
Whoa.
What have we here?
What's the first one? The first one is okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure they were in the right order.
actually like to read so much.
So you guys are just like sitting around
He's a
waiting for
reader.
Lexides to finish reading.
Waiting for the torture to be done.
Yeah.
Did you plan this?
In or out of character, because Sabine definitely never misses a chance to torture.
It's like she's on a date.
Maybe she is. She does like a large muscular torturer.
Okay.
48 scrolls in, he finds one that seems interesting.
So, who's for a game of Senate?
It's like a Jeopardy music is playing in the
It won't
background.
end tonight, will it?
It won't.
Do I know what this city is referring to?
That's Coronaport.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Listen, you can either wait for the torture and the reading to be done, or you
Which
can
is
engage
worse?
in a wonderful game of Senate. I will teach you all the rules.
I know how to play Senat.
Oh, good. Let's play. Deadly serious look. Let's play. Surely we have time for a quick match.
I'll play you. 13. 17 with intelligence.
No. I am a bit tired today, and I've already beaten Anupam once or twice. So.
Okay.
You've already what?
I just lost at a game of Senate, and now I'm doing my Johns. No John. For those of you not in the know, it's a video game fighting game turn about making excuses for how you lose. I'm very tired and have taken multiple shots to the head.
And the controller isn't working right.
That is exact. No John. No John.
Funny,
I'm
multiple
not
hits
following any of that.
Don't worry, it's a subculture within a subculture,
Okay.
and you don't want to go there.
And with multiple hits to the head,
I
you
beat
still
him at
beat
Senat.
Anupam.
He's
I'm making
he's
John.
whining about it.
I'm not whining. I'm making excuses. There's a difference. I'm dignified. We'll get that rematch.
Okay. So, what's everyone doing?
We were waiting for Sabine to return.
Okay, she gets back.
We should scout the tower, and maybe, if possible, go have a conversation with Durno.
Absolutely. Let's
If
go.
we can catch him outside, particularly.
Does any of this jog any
One
memory
thing
for me?
that may have also happened is we may have unnerved
Just
Zarvin,
in general.
and he may not have gone
we
right
can
to
get
the
back
tower.
to it. It doesn't really affect anything tonight.
You think he may have gone to ground, so to speak?
Maybe. In which case, Durno may not know
I
anything.
think he'd
yet.
go back to the tower. If there are other zealots there, they could protect him. He would feel safe.
He may not have needed Durno to get. I don't know how mages work. Maybe he did need Durno to get in again.
Let's
But Durno's our key to learn more.
My Lord Archpriest, we have finished extracting the information from Malik. Apparently, the Chosen of Asura believe that the Book of Illich has a formula for an arcane plague to transmit through animals, specifically cows and pigs, and they plan to do a ritual to infect the cows and pigs and then turn them loose in the city. Perhaps at the festival?
Dire portents indeed.
All these cults.
He says why are you still here?
Yes, I agree. We should go find Durno and learn more about the tower.
we head out towards the
Let's
other
head
tower.
Do we know where the other tower is?
Yes.
Now we do. I sharpen my blade.
I say, are we all going?
Yes.
Because I'm not with you guys right now.
I go and get Anupam.
There you go.
Then we go.
There you go. Okay.
Just kick him
Were you
over to
sleeping again?
No, meditating. Difference.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
It's this weird
Sitting,
sleeping
sleeping.
thing that he does.
Sitting
up.
Yeah. So weird.
I do want to try it sometime.
That cannot be good for your back.
Mm-hmm. It actually does wonders for the back.
A lot of these foreigners are very lazy. They just want to sleep all the time.
You know, it's funny, if you actually come into the room right now, you'll actually see that Anupam is breathing a little heavy and the sweat is kind of coming down his forehead a little bit.
Doesn't look like it's very good for you.
No,
He
it's
looks very ill.
It's be on the way.
Yeah, we head out.
Making our banter as we go.
So if
Is
we
it
know
outside?
if we know where the tower is, would the groundskeeper necessarily be stationed in the tower, or perhaps in a
Yeah.
home on the grounds or something?
Some sort of shack.
That would be what we need to find out. Because
make
if it's
sure-
outside the tower, it's a very different thing than having to get him out of the tower or get into the tower.
Well, we need a very big ladder.
Although we don't know anything about this tower. This tower may not be.
They said that they said it was a ruin.
ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's-
Oh, okay.
So
We should go look at it.
I make sure that before we go, I grab my bow and some arrows.
We had.
It's in a place, a part of the city called Rabbit's Run, which is a neighborhood that is a poorer section of the city. It's not so much a tower as it is like a structure, and it's not a ruin, but it's dilapidated. You see that it's all made of stone, but it's also
It hasn't been maintained well over the years.
right. It hasn't been maintained well.
It hasn't fallen apart though.
Right. And so, unlike the other towers, Aberanth, which was constructed solidly and also probably has some other form of protection. This is more of a mundane building that was used to and that in the absence of being upkept, people take stuff from it, and it has fallen into disrepair and dilapidation. And it's also kind of in a pretty rough area of the city. So it's not in the worst area of the city, but Rabbit's Run does abut the labyrinth. So it leads into the worst area of the city.
It's a good thing we're in a group.
This is true.
Mm-hmm. So, shall we?
Is the tower in?
Is it more of a warehouse, really?
Well, is there stuff right up against it and tight to it, the other buildings, or is there like a area outside that's just like overgrowth?
Say again, I'm sorry.
The tower itself, does it have like overgrowth or anything like that around it, or did the other buildings incur right up to it?
No, it's a freestanding building. There are other buildings around it, mostly tenements. This is a freestanding building, which is probably and it looks like it looked like it was a sturdily built building at one time, which is probably why it was used for whatever purposes he used it for.
Probably why it hasn't collapsed on
Windows,
itself.
Right,
windows
exactly.
and doors.
No, there's doors. There's two large doors. The whole building is stone.
It's still on their hinges and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. And are there people?
Yeah, and there's a lot of people outside. There's remember, let me say that again. It's very early in the morning, so there are the people that you would see starting to mill about on the streets in the early part of the day
Heading to work,
yeah,
getting their
So,
right.
so question, did we get a long rest, or?
You didn't get a long rest.
Okay, I just want to make sure, so that means I still have no key points left.
Yep.
Alright.
Come on, slam, and welcome to the jail.
Are there any buildings around that are obviously would be considered part of the tower's grounds, or is it all just tenements wrapped around it?
No, there's other buildings around, and there's this building is a freestanding building. It looks like it's probably, I mean, if it's either got a high ceiling inside, like a somewhat vaulted ceiling inside, or it could be 2 stories, but
So it's not really, it's not huge. It's
right, it's not
really
huge,
towery.
right?
It's more like just
Right.
bigger than the 1-story tenements around it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's correct.
Oh, sure.
Is there anything attached to it that's like a caretaker?
It's like a small.
Caretaker.
It's like a big sized like a. It's like a freestanding warehouse
That's
building
what I
almost
thought.
is the best way to if you want to think of it like that, with nothing really around it. I mean, and there's, like I said, there's tenements and buildings around it.
No windows. There might be something on the roof.
Is there anyone on the roof? Is anyone around the milling around the door?
Yes, there's
no.
there's people coming in. Make a roll. Make a perception roll.
I rolled an 18.
Okay. And now make a history roll.
17.
Okay, wow, nice. So you recognize a guy that you haven't seen in a very long time, and you see a man. He looks a little beat up, worse the wear. Not beat up, but a little worse the wear. You know, a guy like you haven't seen in 20 years. And you recognize that he was Zabarant's caretaker. And the second guy you see is Zervin, the pain prophet, standing right next to him at the door.
I didn't see
Yeah,
that
we
guy,
didn't
but
see
they
him.
did. So maybe there's door now.
True.
Oh, okay.
Perfect. And that's where we will stop for the evening.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, TV Land.
Oh, man.
Round of applause. Once
Good
more
session, guys. Good session. Good session.
For our
Please, no embarrassing displays.
lovely